Welcome to fucking Boondocking. Fucking eyeballs are rusty. With Sean, day 13 of a 16-day, 3,302-mile road trip in which we managed to pay no money whatsoever for campsites. And we left Winnemucca, Nevada this morning, and Wifey Poo found a free dump station and water fill-up, this time at a truck stop. Hey, you're pretty good at holding that hose. Maybe later you can hold my hose and I can fill you up. She said no. Anywho, we're headed to Virgin Valley Hot Springs, a free campground located in Sheldon National Wildlife Refuge in the high desert of northern Nevada. And look at that, no service for 81 miles. That includes Wifey Poo not servicing me on account of all the stupid innuendos and shit I say. Isn't that so, Wifey Poo? Dumbass. I don't blame her. Well, speaking of fucking, we're almost fucking there. And what a fucking delight to drive way out into the desert and find water-loving flora like reeds and shit. And then boom, big-ass hot spring. Look at this shit. This is a gravel-bottom natural hot spring. And you can soak in this bitch all damn day like a fucking bowl of porridge. Not too cold, not too hot. I wonder if it's cool if I pee in here. Probably not. I know. They also have this nice adjoining bathhouse. Nothing fancy, classic high desert hot spring motif. That's not really a thing. A couple shower heads continually squirting. Speaking of head, hey Wifey Poo. No! Hi. Anyway, worth a shot. They also have a nice outhouse here. However, there's something about a remote high desert outhouse whose lock is on the outside of the damn door. I mean, what the fuck? It's clean, but we didn't use it because if we took a shit in here, all we'd be imagining is some creepy-ass, emaciated desert weirdo they keep locked up in here would be peering up from his shitty abode with his giant eyes and brown broken fingernails reaching for my balls whispering, "Precious." A vivid imagination is not always a good thing. Just saying. Anyway, check it out. It's a campground. It's even got a camp host, and typically campgrounds aren't really our go-to thing, but this one is free and remote as fuck. I'd say it wasn't even a third full when we were here, and the people that were here seemed kind of like an odd collection of eclectic desert-type folks who keep to themselves anyway, kind of like how we do. You kind of have to have some proverbial balls, my precious, to come way the fuck out here. This area is also rich in opals, and there's a bunch of opal mines and shit all over out here. More of that later in the next episode, not this episode. Spending time in the high desert for me is like being psychologically naked somehow, and the strange silent desert hum stills the mind with its weird vibration, and the clouds form before your eyes and become surrogates for your thoughts that you observe from your own internal empty sky of consciousness, and you become permeated and sort of bake in the thickness of its solitude. There's a sort of instant nostalgia about nothing, as if lonely old ghosts are capitalizing on your stillness and flooding into that void, half-whispering tales of dusty trails and cracked lips and dirty bearded men with piercing eyes, phantom cackling in hovels, going half-mad from solitude, whiskey their sole companion. I like to have a little head whenever I go camping, so. Speaking of whiskey and madmen, look who drove all the fucking way out here to meet us. Furniculus, and he brought Mrs. Furniculus, and we did what bearded men in the desert are wont to do. We had drinky poos and traded treasure. He gave me this big-ass hunk of obsidian he found in the desert on the way here, and I gave him this striped green beauty from just outside Glacier National Park. If you're wondering why I call rocks treasures, it's because we're rockhounds. If you don't know what a rockhound is, it's just a motherfucker who has some degree of appreciation or fondness or even fascination with rocks. So, with firewater in our belly, we did a little rockhounding nearby. Now, no doubt many folks do not understand the allure of plain old fucking rocks, because for most people, rocks become like anything else, just a mind label. We evolved to scan for threats or resources. Rocks are generally categorized as neither, and thus are shuffled away from our attention with a big-ass stamp on it that reads, "Don't give a fuck." That's fine, I'm not here to talk anyone into anything. I don't give a shit how anyone wants to experience the world. For us, though, we see rocks as solidified time. They tell a tale of eons. The base particles that form the rock were created within collapsing stars and supernova and shit. And they speak of incredible heat being blasted into the universe, cooling, congealing, then melted and cooled and tumbled and exploded and weathered and eroded. Ancient crumbs of upheaval, each one with a story as unique as any of us. When you crack open a rock, you know without a doubt you are the only human in its possible million or billion year lifespan to have laid eyes on its ancient innards. Being a rockhound means you have to push past mind labels, so instead of seeing the word rock, you see the rock. The first time this happens is extraordinary. And for those who are kind of fucked up from past trauma, or people with PTSD who experience derealization, or, that feeling like reality is somehow so far away, it creates a portal into the now, into life, and into reality. And your sequestered consciousness can briefly merge back with the tiny nugget of the universe you hold in your hand. A mere rock can be a portal key into reality. Value. It's just a concept we made up. A $100 bill isn't valuable, it's just a representation of some shit we made up. Diamonds, for example, are considered valuable because we think they're rare, but guess what? They're really not. Diamond companies have huge stockpiles of diamonds they withhold and only release them to be purchased at a slow rate so as to imply rarity. Because, like I said, value is just made up shit. So imagine the ability to recategorize Earth's most abundant thing, itself, its aggregate, rocks. What fun it is to walk around so much assigned and therefore perceived value in such an accessible way. Shit doesn't have to be rare to be valuable, you just have to decide to value it. And we value the uniqueness of each little ancient time capsule and the tale it tells to those interested in listening to it. They're our little hard-headed cousins because the same fucking stardust that congealed to become them is the same fucking stardust that evolved into meat tractors to become us. Rockhounding is like finding a pot of fucking gold everywhere you look. So, with treasures in hand, we went back to camp to commence fucking off. Evening in the high desert is an experience of magic. It's like a slow, strange dream you don't want to wake up from. And Mr. and Mrs. Furniculus and me and the wifey poo had some drinky poos. Stay tuned for more high desert shenanigans in the next episode. Oh, and of course we closed out the night with a little fucking laser party because fuck it. Toodaloo.